Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 is coming out. We've got to have an equivalent release for Nintendo's new console. Motion controls? Hell yes, we're in! I've got the best idea! Controlling Sonic with motion! Such an amazing idea. It's creative, it's necessary, it's fun. Oh boy, and best of all, it works. It just works. It works so well, and it feels great. Who actually, in their sane human mind, thought that this would be a good idea? Okay, I'm ready to play. Sonic and the Secret Rings, the first ever entry into the Sonic Storybook series, of which there are 2 games. What a series! The story is quite something, actually. Sonic is sleeping in his house that he apparently has, and grabs a strange ring sitting on his table. A genie named Shara comes out, forms a contract with Sonic, and then pulls him into the Book of the Arabian Nights. You see, apparently the world of the Arabian Nights is being threatened by an evil genie, the Eraser Djinn. And eventually, after destroying all of the stories in the book, he'll make his way to the real world and wreak havoc there. So Sonic and Shara embark on a quest to collect the 7 world rings and defeat the Eraser Djinn once and for all. So, Sonic the Hedgehog in the stories of the Arabian Nights. I don't really know where they came up with this, it's really random, especially as a partner game to Sonic 2006. You know, they probably came up with it because it was a good excuse to cheap out on the cutscenes, actually. Basing it on a storybook and all that. I mean, the cutscenes aren't awful, but there's literally only 2 fully animated cutscenes in the entire game, and they're both near the end. The rest are these partially animated, picture book style PowerPoint presentations. It comes across as a little bit lazy. And this makes sense, since from what I've read, Sonic Team was split up to work on this and 06 at the same time. So I can definitely see them cutting corners. Like with cutscenes. And gameplay. But we'll talk about that shortly. Besides feeling a bit lazy though, these cutscenes are not the worst. They're visually appealing, the drawings are good, the voice acting is decent. I'll tell you, Tails sounds a lot better in this game than he did in Sonic Heroes. And the writing is actually pretty decent as well. It's a simple plot, but it gets the job done. Sonic and Shara share some pretty adorable moments. There's actually a couple kind of dark scenes near the end. And Sonic is written pretty well. Like, his character is represented properly, and his dialogue is pretty good. This may seem like a bit of a strange thing for me to point out, but let me elaborate a bit. Sonic is supposed to be a fun-loving guy who loves adventure. He's not a genius, but he's not an idiot either. He can be rude at times and may not always take everything as seriously as he should, but ultimately he's a hero, he's a kind person, and he's not stupid. In the most recent Sonic games, however, his dialogue consists mostly of bad jokes and insults, and he is so unbelievably stupid. I'm not going to go through a bunch of examples, I'm wasting enough time as it is, but he's such a moron in those games. He just comes across as obnoxious most of the time, and that really bums me out. I love the character of Sonic, he's great. This game does it pretty well though, I think. Like, at the beginning, Shara is explaining the severity of their situation and then tells Sonic that she can grant his wishes, since she's a genie. And the first thing that Sonic wishes for is a handkerchief, because he has a cold. That's pretty funny. But during a scene later, when Shara is obviously really upset about something, he reassures her that everything will be fine, and does whatever he can to cheer her up. Even when his situation is extremely grim, he just smiles and continues on. He doesn't stand there complaining about how Baldy McNosehair Man screwed him over. This plays both into his kindness and his easygoing attitude. Personally, I've just really not been enjoying the writing in the more recent games, so this stuck out to me, I guess. A few other Sonic characters make appearances as well, but they take on the roles of characters from these stories. Eggman is King Shahryar, whoever that is, Tails is Ali Baba, and Knuckles is the famous adventurer Sinbad. That's all well and good, it's a cute concept, and it's a fun way to have some familiar faces in this strange setting. But why didn't they go more all out with this? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know very much about the Arabian Nights and all that. I know that Aladdin is in it, and that's about it. But there had to have been more than just 3 characters they could use. Where's Amy and Shadow? Or any of the other trillion Sonic characters that they'd introduced up to this point. But yeah, the story is good, I guess. I'll be honest, I'm kind of focusing on talking about the story right now because once I start talking about the gameplay, my tone is going to change. And I guess that time is now. The story's good. Time to talk about the gameplay. I hate this game. When I picked this game to review, I actually thought that this might end up being a fairly positive video. Even after playing the first couple of levels, it wasn't great, but I at least saw promise. I saw potential. But no. This game, as it turns out, is one of my personal least favorite Sonic games. My God, was this bad. I'm sorry to people who like this game. Usually I can empathize, usually I can disagree, but understand your opinion to a certain extent. But not this time. This game is really bad. Let me explain. This isn't some sort of minigame collection, or side-scroller, or racing game. This is a regular old 3D Sonic game, a 3D platformer. It has all of the Sonic staples: running, jumping, stomping, homing attacking. There's rails, action segments where you have to dodge stuff, boss fights, different types of missions and levels with different objectives. This is a 3D platforming Sonic game at its core, except you control Sonic with one of these. A single Wii remote, waggling around and shaking. Boy howdy were motion controls shoehorned into so many games that didn't need them back then. Sonic moves forward automatically, and you steer him left and right by tilting the Wii remote. You jump with the 2 button, but not by pressing it. No, that'd be too simple. You have to hold it down, which makes Sonic crouch and slide, and then release the 2 button to make him jump. The longer the button is held, the higher he'll jump. This just feels wrong. Why change this? Why not just have the button be the jump button? And that's it. There's no reason for this change. It just feels bad. Oh, and you have to shake the Wii remote to do the homing attack. So get used to shaking the Wii remote a lot. I'm sure you already have a pretty good idea as to why I hate this game. To go in reverse, you tilt the Wii remote back and basically hold it upside down, which is very awkward, and it makes it somewhat difficult to steer while doing this. Plus, the camera doesn't turn around, or zoom out, or do anything that would help you see where you're going. So my advice is to just never mess up and thus never have to go in reverse. There you go. Oh, and sometimes the controls just don't work. This is me trying to walk backwards. And don't even get me started on the rail grinding. It's so bad. Steering and using the homing attack might be annoying and not work very well, but at least I understand it. But the controls for grinding are just so bad. I don't even know if I'm doing it right or not. Leaping from rail to rail rarely works. I'll tilt left to jump to the left rail, and then Sonic leaps off to the right and kills himself. Except for when he doesn't, and he goes to the left like I wanted. Or jumps to the left when I tilt the Wii remote to the right, and sometimes it's just super unresponsive and I can't get Sonic to do anything. And right when I think that I finally figured it out, and I know what I have to do, Sonic doesn't do what I want and I'm back to square one. And on top of all that, there's often no time to react to obstacles, even if it didn't take a year to make Sonic move. I actually swapped Wii remotes partway through the game to see if that would help. It did not. It took literally 5 whole minutes just to hit this damn spring. Cause, well, first getting up there is hell. A lot of waggling the Wii remote hoping that Sonic goes where I want him to. Then he won't lock onto the spring and instead he keeps grabbing onto this rope, even though I don't want him to. I don't even know why the hell this rope is here. And then he'll jump over the spring and miss it. Again and again, hit the spiky ball, fall all the way back down, lock onto a rope that's a level below him, despite the fact that there's one right beside him. It's great! It's great! I mentioned before that this game throws different level types and missions at you. Well, it sure does. Sometimes you have to complete a level without dying, sometimes you have to collect a certain number of rings, sometimes you have to race a computer character. These are okay. I mean, they suck as much as the regular levels, but at least they don't really suck worse. But some of these missions are just so dumb. I'm not gonna go through every single one, but there are a bunch of missions where you're not allowed to collect any rings. And so they just put rings everywhere, including at the very end of the level, right before the end goal, in an area where there's no enemies to touch and lose rings. So it just feels like the game designers were trolling me here. By completing levels, you gain experience points and level up. Leveling up allows you to equip different skills, which you also unlock by completing levels and leveling up higher. Some of these skills are simple things like giving you some rings at the start of a level or allowing you to do this backflip move, but others are meant to improve the game, like making Sonic faster or improving his acceleration. Or this one, it's called Quick Step. It says that it makes Sonic's movement smoother. Why is this an optional upgrade? Why is making the game control better an optional upgrade that you can equip if you want to? Of course I'm going to equip it. And also, I don't really notice much of a difference. I mean, maybe it feels slightly smoother steering left and right, but it doesn't magically make the motion controls feel any better. Or make them a better idea in the first place. I still can't get over this. It's a 3D platforming Sonic game where it's entirely motion controlled. God damn it, I hate this. 2 of these skills that you unlock are actually pretty pivotal to the game. Or at least Sonic Team wanted them to be, except they suck. Speed Break and Time Break. Using Speed Break causes Sonic to run forward with a burst of speed, uncontrollably blasting through enemies and killing them. This seems cool on paper, kind of just seems like the boost mechanic from the Sonic games that would come after this, except that it's so fast that it really can't be controlled at all. And every time you use this ability, you're just going to immediately run into something and it'll end. I don't understand how they didn't think of this. Like, didn't they test the game and see that it was useless? Time Break is useless too. It slows everything down, including Sonic. Really breaks up the feeling of speed that you may have had. I guess it's meant to be used in difficult sections. Slowing it down gives you more time to react to things and aim Sonic accordingly. It's like the slow motion from Drake of the 99 Dragons, except even worse because it's motion controls. You really feel how bad the controls are during Time Break. It's very choppy and loose and just not good. I barely ever used this ability. It was not very useful. Throughout the game, for several hours before even unlocking these 2 abilities, you collect these orb things called pearls. They fill up your soul gauge, which is used exclusively for these 2 skills. So it was admittedly pretty confusing when I spent the first 2 hours of this game collecting these pearls and just having them do nothing. I had no idea what they were for. So yeah, the skill system is, it's okay, I guess. I mean, those 2 skills suck, but overall, the idea of gaining experience through completing missions and then equipping these skills to improve Sonic in different areas. I don't think that a Sonic game really needs this. I'd personally rather it not be here. But I'd be lying if I said it was awful. It's okay. It's definitely more well thought out and fully realized than pretty much everything else in this game. So I guess it's not good or bad, it's just sort of a thing that's here. Hey, remember earlier when I said get used to shaking the Wii remote a lot? Well, it hurts! Depending on the levels I'm playing, I can't play this game for more than 2 or 3 hours before I just have to stop and take a break. Simply because my wrists hurt from tilting and shaking the Wii remote so much. God, I'm old. I've got old people wrists. I think I've complained enough about the controls. They're bad, you get it. The level design, though, is a slightly different story. Some of the level design is just bad. Just really not good at all. But some of it actually isn't awful. Hell, some of these levels could actually be kind of fun if the controls were just more responsive. Or if it wasn't motion controls. But yeah, that's like the only good thing I have to say about the gameplay, actually. It really sucks. And that's about it. Sorry, I was just thinking about all the better Sonic games I could be playing instead of this. The graphics are good. Oh my god. Another positive comment about Sonic and the Secret Rings! The graphics! The different worlds look unique. Sonic's animations look pretty good. The art design is great. These are some cool looking levels in this game. Which is not a surprise, it's a Sonic game after all, so yeah, it excels in the graphics department, for sure. Oh, and the music is good too. Great even. All of the songs are both fitting to the game and its strange setting, but are also fitting for a Sonic game. It's a weird mix of styles, and I really love it. So yeah, this game is actually really good on a presentation level. If only all of the aspects of the game could match this quality. It also has a really good theme song. But sadly, I hate it. It plays constantly. Every time you win a level, it starts playing. It plays in all of the menus, it just gets so annoying, so grating, and it also plays in the final boss fight. Oh no, it's time to talk about one of the worst parts of this game, isn't it? So you've collected the 7 world rings, and it's finally time to fight the Eraser Djinn. Twice. The first fight almost made me cry. He does this move where he rushes at you and you have an insanely small window of opportunity to attack him. It's nearly impossible, if not impossible. I used the time break ability to slow it down, and it actually helped. But then the next 7 times I tried to do this, I couldn't get the timing right. He pauses before rushing at you, so I never know quite when to activate the ability. If I do it too early, then I waste the entire soul gauge just waiting for him to move. But if I wait too long, I don't have enough time for the homing attack to lock onto him. It sucks. Damn it, even when I'm in slow motion, I still can't goddamn do it half the time. I'm legitimately mad. I hate this game. My arms hurt, my wrists hurt, and I've been at this stupid goddamn boss fight for 20 damn minutes. My time on this earth is limited, and I've spent 20 minutes on this. Eventually, he just starts attacking you rapidly and unpredictably, too fast to reasonably assume I can dodge. And after that awful experience, the Eraser Djinn is defeated. He turns to dust, and he is gone forever. Really. Definitely defeated. 100%. He's gone. He's not coming back. That was it. Roll credits. There's nothing left here. He's back. The true final boss is one of the most miserable boss fights I've ever attempted to beat. It actually caused me physical pain. Lasting physical pain. You have to constantly shake the Wii Remote, both to attack him and to charge up your soul gauge. And on top of that, this fight is pretty difficult. So I was basically shaking my Wii Remote up and down for 40 minutes straight. My arms actually hurt right along here. And this pain isn't going away. I think this is gonna last for a couple of days. This game sucks. Oh yeah, and Sonic doesn't turn into Super Sonic in this game. He turns into Dark Spine Sonic, whose powers and abilities are... he's Super Sonic, basically. He looks pretty cool. That's all that really matters to me. Whatever, I beat him. I got an admittedly pretty good cutscene at the end, and then some credits, and then I'm finished. I'm done. I don't have to play anymore. I'm finally finished with Sonic and the Secret Rings. Multiplayer mode! Yeah, that exists. Alright, let's take a look at it. Hey Mike, there's a multiplayer mode in this game. Do you want to play it with me? Well, what game is it? It's Sonic and the Secret Rings. He's already gone. Well, computer opponents it is then, because I can't be bothered to waste any real person's time playing this. I'm gonna play as the immortal Shadow. Sonic is my rival, so he's gotta be here. I'll put him on normal difficulty. Now, Tails is Sonic's friend, so he doesn't want to fight him, so he's gonna sit this one out. Knuckles is gonna be set to easy mode because he's a bit of a dullard sometimes. But Amy, though, well, she is ravenous. Amy is a beast on the playing field. Wow, I'm actually very surprised. It's basically Mario Party. It's not great, but it's not the worst either. There's a mode where the winner of the played minigame has to open chests to get points. It's a bit random, but it's sort of a risk and reward kind of game. There's also this one where you're placed on a game board and you have to find treasures in chests. This one was kind of boring and long-winded, but it wasn't broken or anything. Where I'm really surprised though is the number of minigames that there are to play. There's a lot. This is crazy. This is a multiplayer mode in Sonic and the Secret Rings. This mode didn't even have to be here, and I can't imagine many people actually played it, but here it is. Basically Sonic Shuffle 2. There's this one minigame where you have to carefully grab gold with a shovel without waking up this big weird thing from his nap, and I immediately woke him up. Every single time it was my turn, I had no idea what to do. 0 points. This safe game is just awful. A prime example of a boring minigame mixed with awful motion controls. You have to watch a long combination of symbols and then remember them and slowly spin a dial around to match it. I can see the computer characters spinning their dials around so fast, but I can barely make mine move. Seriously, I'm spinning the hell out of this Wii remote, and Shadow is just like, what do I do here? Spin it? What? What do I do? What do I do? This one where you shoot balloons is actually pretty good. And so is this similar one here where you have to fling your character at a giant dartboard. I'm not going to talk about every single minigame in detail, but yeah, this is basically a poor man's Mario Party. Some of the minigames are decently mediocre, while others are just awful, just bad. I will say though that seeing Shadow in a canoe is pretty funny. And just look at Knuckles the violinist over here. He's awesome. Overall, Sonic and the Secret Rings multiplayer mode, surprisingly decent. By far the best part about this game. Still not great, but better than this. Yeah, I think it's about time I wrap this up. This game is not good. Don't play it. If there weren't so many checkpoints in this game, I wouldn't even be reviewing it right now, because I'd be unable to beat it. Completely unable to. I'll just die 17 times on a single goddamn obstacle before I finally get lucky and pass it. And then that will happen again around the next corner. Just so many deaths. So much death. I hate this game. Oh, I died again. Nice, nice. Time to try again. Oh, my jump button didn't work. Ah, that's okay, that's okay. Because I love this game. I love it. I'm not in denial. This game at least has good graphics and a good soundtrack, and maybe not a good multiplayer mode, but a mediocre one with a surprising amount of content snuck into it. Overall though, this game is just a mess. It was a mess on a conceptual level and a mess in execution. I actually can't see a world where I would enjoy this game. It would need quite the overhaul. At least it was better than Sonic 06, I think. I might actually rather play that than this, actually. Well, with that possibly controversial opinion, I'm done. I know this isn't really much of a Sonic month anymore, but whatever. I have another video in the works, so I'm going to finish that one, even though it's already July. I'm playing more Sonic fan games like I did last year, so I'll see you all there.